introduce our next reader. Laurie Plasker grew up in New Jersey, and she and her husband Noel, who's also here, raised their 3 children in Hohokus. Laurie has been playing with words for as long as she can remember, but only started sharing her writing about 10 years ago. She is quite proud of her children's book, What Life's All About, mostly because when she wrote it, she could pretend for a hot second that she had a clue, which she says is funny because she really doesn't. I beg to differ. Laurie is truly psyched to be here at What's Your Story as a reader because she feels like she's getting to hang with the cool kids. Finally, our next reader. So happy to have her here, Laurie Plasker.
This is so much fun. I'm new at this, and I did not know we had to include the word green. So let me start by saying, my mother-in-law loved the color green. Okay, thank you. Okay. My mother-in-law, it is about her. She called herself a late bloomer. I had to take her word for it. She was already in her early 50s when we met. So the only Barbara I knew was fully in bloom all year round. To be mothered by such a woman, to grow around her, was a magical thing. A woman who knew herself so well, who knew the best was yet to come as her children grew, as she had more time and energy to create her own experiences. When she was alive, she was so very alive. Always in growth mode, never afraid to fail. Failures, she said, were necessary and valuable. She worked in adult education, she wrote, she spoke, she even began a life coaching career at age 75. She focused on women midlife and older. Her tagline, not surprisingly, was "It's never too late to bloom." She passed in late August 2019, suddenly and quietly. It seems that for as long as it takes someone to grow, it takes only an instant for them to wither. As it goes, we were left to close up her life. She had even considered this and was quite organized. Her belongings were minimal, meaningful, and manageable. Her passwords neatly tucked in a small spiral notebook. I searched her things for the words she left behind because that was sort of our thing. I rummaged through typed essays, handwritten journals, stacks of greeting cards that she had deemed savable. Had I made the cut? Had I told her how I felt, how much of an impact she had made on me? Did it matter to her if I did? There were decades worth of cards to sift through, and I read every single one. Mine were there, and so was the theme. In each card I had given her, and in so many others, there was a version of this sentiment. Thank you. Thank you for being so authentically you. It gives everyone around you permission to be themselves. It gives me permission to be me. My mother-in-law gifted me the thing we all want but rarely get, acceptance. And she did this simply by just being Barbara. I missed her, in the same way we all miss those who went before us. The grief, though, feels particular with each passing year as I try to make sense of it all in my mid-50s, or on a good day, surrender to its lack of sense. It's not that my mother-in-law was always right. It's that she was always real. I wrote a poem last year, inspired by some spoken word pieces I was listening to, and in honor of her that I'd like to now share with you. I am a late bloomer. Or at least that's what my mother-in-law used to call people like me, like herself. She used that term a lot when she was alive, before she was crushed by her own car that had settled in drive. That is not meant to be a metaphor, by the way. It's important you know that she was killed quite literally by a simple mistake. It's important to note that no matter how hard we try to change, to grow, to let go, no matter how much we give or take in this life, how often we heal or break, no matter if we fully emerge or ever even have that urge, even the best of us forget to put our car in park. When I say I'm a late bloomer, I want to be clear. I am not a delicate flower, a resilient willow, or some mighty succulent. No, I'm a weed. I am an invasive species. Me, we, us, screaming at the top of our lungs to be seen, to be heard, when our art and our words have no bearing on anyone's survival but our own. Now, the whales won't miss our songs when we are gone, but they will thrive in the absence of our wrongs. I'm a late bloomer. Sure, you can see me now, but just this morning, I was burrowed beneath the surface, nowhere to be found, the soil muffling my sound so that everyone around me could grow. You know, being a person is hard. Being a person who pays attention is so much harder. I decided a long time ago the surface is for the burbs. People like me nest below, inside, beyond, and we convince ourselves that we are safer unexposed to most, naked to some. Seeds are so tiny, roots are strong, and I belong where things are being made and formed. It's where I hide. Don't let anyone fool you into believing safety is an illusion. She is real, and she is alive, but you will not find her up here. 8 billion people. Safety is a needle, and the haystack is on fucking fire. And now my kids are out there. My kids are out there, and I have to wonder how their senses of humor, their humility, their kindness and self-awareness are gonna hold up against an AR-15, because while other folks were taking their kids to target practice, I was raising mine with these nifty knockoff privileged prescription shapes on. Last I checked, being decent doesn't make you bulletproof. I should have known. There have been bombs in my life. I've cleaned up enough debris, scattered enough ashes to know, but oh, the way this dust had to dim for it to even dawn on me that the world I was preparing my children for would not even exist by the time they were old enough to face it. I know there is still sunlight, and water, and oxygen, but quality control is being run by my pristine suburban neighbors who don't care that the leaves are biodegradable. It doesn't have to be right, it just has to look good. I am a late bloomer, sure, and late is better than never, I tell myself, whenever it feels too late. So I'll go and grow and flail and sail. My failing sight is not set that far anymore, but there is something up around the bend. It seems the best I can do now is just put my car in park and walk the end.